sitting here with Game Time, Sloth Esports Game Time here at DreamHack Montreal, WCS Montreal. How's it going, man?
Pretty good, pretty good. Had an okay event, so it's been fun so far, you know, watching the games and everything, so it's been cool,
Awesome. Before we really dive into, you know, the weekend and the career and stuff like that, I want to ask you a little bit about yourself. You're this big up-and-comer. You've really, you know, like you're on people's minds currently, you know. I know that you're a big football guy. We were actually just sitting here talking. You brought up football. You brought up like the ESPN stuff and paying attention to all the rosters all the time. And you play as well, don't you?
Well, football, I'm more than like watching it, fantasy football. I'm obsessed with fantasy football, so like that's like my thing, you know, besides StarCraft. So it's a major hobby of mine. So yeah, I love that, and yeah, pretty much it's just a major hobby.
Who do you like? Who's your fantasy dream team for like top 3 players that you want to get for the upcoming year?
So I actually won my fantasy league last year with Le'Veon Bell, Ezekiel Elliott, and Tom Brady, and ever since like those 3 are like my 3 guys. So yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Even Tom Brady, like now, even still, you still think is he the GOAT or what?
He's a beast, man. You see the Super Bowl, man? No, he's a beast.
Never forget that Atlanta blew anyway.
All right, 28-3 lead, man.
So, fantasy football, big thing for you. Is there anything else that you've got going on? Like, what does Game Time do in the day-to-day? What's your average day look like besides fantasy football and StarCraft?
Yeah, hanging out with friends and family, and just school. I go to college, and yeah, StarCraft's obviously a big part of it, and fantasy football is like my 3 main things. So, and yeah, hanging out with family and friends is big. I play basketball with my friends a lot, so yeah, it's pretty much.
What are you going to school for?
Honestly, I think I'm going to pursue pharmacy, but I'm not 100% sure yet. It's my second year. I just started my second year in college, so I still got time to figure it out. But my brother's actually becoming a pharmacist real soon, so I might just follow his footsteps. It's like a good field, and it seems consistent, so I'm going to maybe pursue that. That's the first thing I have in my mind right now.
We're here at DreamHack. I think it would probably be fitting to talk a little bit about StarCraft, I guess. I mean, if we have to, right?
Only a little bit, yeah.
Only a little bit. What were your expectations for yourself heading into this event? We were talking earlier, and you said you really, really wanted to make an impact at this event. What were your personal expectations here?
So I told myself and like my family, like before I left, I was like, I think top 32 is like a realistic goal and like very possible. And I think like a dream goal would be like top 16 and continue on to day 2. So that's what I was hoping for sure for this event. Yeah.
What kind of preparations did you put in? Like, this is the last one of the year, right? This is 4 of 4 WCS circuit, and you really busted out of the gate. And you had this high expectation for yourself. You wanted to hit top 32, top 16, reasonable. Did you mix anything up with your practice regime, or did you add anything different?
So I just knew this is like the last event, obviously, for me, unless I somehow win at BlizzCon, which is highly unlikely, obviously. So I just knew after Montreal WCS Challenger, I'm like, I need to buckle down for 2 weeks and just grind as much as I can, because this is the last one, and just put in a lot of effort and time, and hopefully everything goes well. Although I had like motivational issues after WCS Montreal, because I prepared a lot for that Challenger specifically, because I wanted to get top 4 and like, you know, and it didn't go as planned, obviously. So I was like a little bit demotivated after that one, so I took like a 3-day or 4-day break, and then I started grinding, which helped me a lot for my motivation for this event. So I think I had like a good, maybe like, I'd probably average like 6 hours a day with school and everything starting up, so maybe 6 hours a day, and like a good day's like 8 hours. So, and like my preparation varied. It was like most days I play like 20 games to 25 games, and then I watch like a lot of VODs. So if you count in VODs time, it's probably more than like 6 hours, you know, because I always watch VODs. Like I will watch a ton. Even like every day before I go to sleep, I'll watch like an hour of VODs or something, like half hour of VODs, you know, just try and catch up on the meta and like make sure I'm playing this, I guess like the most consistent styles that'll help me win games, you know. So that's pretty much my preparation for this event.
So what did you think about the meta? What do you think about the meta for this event? You know, like, is there a good spot? Is there any standout weakness or any standout imbalance with the other races?
Yeah, I know. I think every race is in a pretty good spot right now. Obviously, it's all going to change up with the new balance changes coming up at the end of this year. I mean, obviously some stuff has changed with like Mass Oracle, and like PVZ is kind of crazy. It's kind of cool. It's like a macro-oriented style, and you know, everybody thinks of Mass Oracle. It's like, oh, it's the cheesiest thing ever. You know, it's actually not. It's like actually like a standard thing nowadays. So you just gotta get used to it. You know, watching VODs obviously helps you understand what you got to do versus, you know, X, Y, and Z. And like, for example, Mass Oracle style, you know, how to prepare for it, how to defend it, and you know, and yeah, I think the game's in a good spot right now.
I was talking to some of your teammates yesterday, actually, and they both spoke really highly about the atmosphere on Sloth and how close-knit everybody is. Did you rely on anybody on the team to, help you out to run ideas over anything like that?
Yeah, I think BioIce or Jackson is like a good person I talk to. He's a Zerg, so he's like high-level Zerg as well on the team. So I run by a lot of ideas by him. I'm actually friends with a lot of the other pros too, so I talk to them a lot. But yeah, Sloth, like everybody on Sloth is like really close. Like, we have our own Airbnb for this event. It's like 9 of us there, so we're all like really close friends. We're all having a good time, and like we always run by stuff with each other for StarCraft and everything. And we've honestly become like great friends even outside of StarCraft. So it's been like almost like a family. So it's really cool. Yeah.
When you hit the brackets, when you saw what you're up against, like did you feel good about like the path to success, or was there any player that you thought maybe was going to give you a hard time, anything like that?
Yeah, so the first group, the round of 80, was me, Lambo, Bones, and Theory. And my Bones and Theory, I wrote Protosses are around like 6K MMR. And Protosses is my best matchup, ZVP is the best matchup for sure. So I wasn't nervous about them. I just really tried to prepare for Lambo. I was watching his VODs, and I really wanted to, get first in my group, because that's like, it'll help you in the round of 48. And unfortunately, I ended up losing to Lambo 2-1. But I think my preparation for it was solid. I don't really regret anything. I think I played how I should have. I just made a couple mistakes in game 3 that I honestly think I was in a good position to win that game, but a few mistakes made me lose. And yeah, I think my preparation was solid, and I wasn't too nervous about the group at all. Honestly, I just really wanted to get first. Unfortunately, I lost 1-2, and I ended up getting second. I beat Theory 2-0 twice to get second in the group. So yeah, I'm not disappointed about it, and yeah, I think I was pretty happy when I first saw it for sure.
I ran into you yesterday after your final loss, and you looked really devastated. You're emotional, and you talk about like you wanted to make an impact, and clearly this is a really big deal for you. Walk us through a little bit, like what happened. Tell us a little bit about the last match there.
Yeah, this is gonna be a long explanation. So the group this is the round of 48 group after I advanced, right? It was pretty solid. It was doable for sure. It was me, Jig, Semper, and Penguin. So first match I played Semper, and I lost 0-2, and I actually have like a terrible win-loss record for Semper. It is like really bad in tournaments. However, I do pretty well versus him on ladder, and I'm not really sure why it doesn't correlate well. I think I have like lack of confidence versus him is like a big issue, but this is like WCS, so I knew I had to like try my best and like just get everything that I can out of my body, just to have some confidence, and just like have some adrenaline and just like do well and stuff like that, right? So unfortunately, I lost 0-2 to start. And then I beat Penguin in the losers match, so I ended up being in the deciders. But I was hoping Jig would lose, and I could play Jig in the deciders, which would be easier for me. However, Jig beat Semper 2-0, and then I was like, oh man, I gotta play him for the deciders for $1,000. It's like best of 3 for $1,000, top 32, and potentially more. And I was like, you know what, man? I've been grinding so much. I play so much StarCraft. I practice a ton. This is like what I live for, it's what I compete for. So, however, I have a bad record, put that aside, it's in the past. Try my best and just do what you can, right? So game 1 in that series went like terrible. I was down 0-1, right? And then game 2, I'm like, you know what, man? Put that game behind you. Same thing, same mindset. Just new game, and just do your thing, right? What you practice. Just played standard game 2, and I did really well, and I ended up winning that game. Just pretty standard games, both game and 1. He just won game 1 because I made too many mistakes. Game 2, he made a couple mistakes himself, so pretty simple, So it was 1-1 going into game 3, and man, I felt good after winning that game 2, because I don't win a lot versus him. So I was like, if I just beat him there, I can beat him again, And basically, I went into like the mid game, right, in the mid game stages on Acolyte, and it was like pretty even supply. I felt like it was like an even game. Nothing really crazy happened. We both had like 3 base economy. I like had like a really good opener. Didn't take any damage. Did like a hell bad timing. I shut it down, and then he entered the mid game, and I had like mutas out, and like he double dropped into my natural, and he got 0 damage. And I killed 2 full medevacs, so that's like 20 supply. And I didn't lose anything. He got no damage done, didn't even kill a drone, didn't kill like any mutas, so I just got 2 medevacs for free. Then he was killing my 4th, defended that perfectly with 1 medevac drop, killed that drop as well. So he's down 30 supply here, right? And this is like perfect timing for my +1 melee and +2 care base timing. Right when that finished, right when I killed 30 supply units. So I'm like, I'm gonna counter and try and punish him for losing that 30 supply units, right? So at that time I took that fight. At the end of that fight, I ended up being up 151 to 108 supply. I was in a fantastic position, right? And I actually felt my hands shaking a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, I was like a little nervous. I thought I was gonna win. You know, I don't normally beat this guy. I was like I was getting like an adrenaline rush pretty much, right? And I was ready. I'm about to win. I got a good chance, you know. Let's finish it out. And basically, I had like 20 mutas with +1 as well, and like my ground army was kind of like pretty much diminishing. There wasn't like a lot left, and it was like an acolyte. The third had a wall, right? The depot wall. So only my mutas could attack over the wall, and all he had was like 2 widow mines, like 10 or 12 marines, and like 2 medevacs left. And basically, I made the biggest mistake of I think probably my career, honestly, because this was like such a huge match. One game, $1,000, and all I had to do was not make this play, and I made it. And basically what happened was I tried focus firing the mines, but they burrowed with like maybe like 20 HP, and basically the 2 mines got burrowed, the 10 marines were right under them, so the mutas were like clumped up trying to focus fire the mines. Mines went off, and then my mutas, like I lost between like 10 to 12 mutas, and like the marines, they're all like 1 or 2 HP. The marines just kind of cleaned them up a little bit, and I ended up having like 8 left, and I had like 20, so the supplies kind of evened up. I was still up like 30 even after that, but Acolyte's a big map, and honestly, just small mistakes made me lose on after that, after I made that giant, huge mistake, you know? But like looking back, it was just one play that cost me $1,000. If I literally just had those 20 mutas go to a different spot in his base anywhere, in his main, natural, or third, I win that game. Like, the mines were burrowed, so I just need to literally not go towards the mines. Like, camp on top of production, do anything. 20 mutas with +1 versus 10 marines, come on, it's easy win. Just fight anywhere that doesn't have a turret or mines, and you're golden, And I just got overeager, didn't have the patience, and I just, super unfortunate, and I just got, I was really hurt, man. It was super disappointing, because I had that. There was no 99 out of 100 times I'd win in that scenario, And just, I guess, the tournament atmosphere just got to me maybe, and got a little overeager. Although, yeah, I just one big play, and I just messed it up, But what can you do? You live and you learn. You just try and, keep practicing and grinding for the next one, I guess. But just the fact that this is the last tournament, it just really hurt me. It's got nothing to play for a few months until WSG, which is in December. So, unfortunate.
You talk about, land jitters. You mentioned once you cleaned up all these drops and you defended perfectly, your hands, you could feel them shaking. You're a young guy, right? This year has really been the first really big year for Game Time, right? Are you... I can see you're hard on yourself, right? I can hear it in your voice and I can see it in you, but do you recognize 100% that this is a learning process, and maybe you have wiggle room here, or is that kind of just it in your heart to be true, but your brain's no, screw that, I should have had that?
Well, obviously deep down you're telling yourself it's a simple mistake, you got to understand and learn from it, but your initial reaction is I had that, how the heck, you're beating yourself up, how the heck did you make that mistake, And that's why I was super hurt, and basically it was, I'm not gonna lie, it was literally one play. It was one play, one misplay in that game that really, really, really cost me, and this $1,000 mistake is really what it was, and could have been even more, It's not even about the money, it's just the fact that I could have had a top 32 performance again, last event, ended on a win, and have a great performance again, Beating Semper's a great accomplishment. That guy's a beast, So like I said, I wanted to make an impact this tournament. I practiced a lot for it, and I just, unfortunately, it didn't work out the way I wanted it to. But yeah, it's just you live and you learn, like you said. You got to deep down, you got to understand that it's a grind. You got to keep grinding, and just everyone's gone through this. Everyone's gone through this. There's nobody had a perfect career. Yeah. Nobody's just gonna win everything off the rip. You keep grinding, and you just do your best to perform well. So yeah, I'm gonna keep going, I guess.
As long as you can if you can rationalize it. I know I'm really hard on myself. I know players of the highest level are really hard on themselves, and it's easy to say one thing and kind of in your head.
Right? Not
yeah.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
As long as you can keep everything in perspective and stay healthy. And like you said, right? Your team must be so behind you in this moment, right? You're so tight with your team, and the owners are here too. What? They must be, so solidly in your corner trying to help you out with that, right?
Always. It's just you're sponsored by a team, and man, Stefan, the manager of our team, is the nicest guy ever, man. That guy supports us 110%. That guy hypes us up. Like, he does everything he possibly can to make you feel better, win or lose, But deep down, it's just like unacceptable on my end. It's like, let's go back to being hard on yourself, But it's just deep down, it's like I can't deem that acceptable, Like, he helps us so much. He supports us, and he helps us come out to these tournaments and not closing it out. It gets to you. I wanna show those good performances to not only for myself, for the team. Help his brand and get exposure and everything. It's more than just myself. But like you said, you got to live and you learn. You just got to keep going. But yeah, Sloth Esports is an amazing team that helps me in my journey to keep going and grinding, and get better. So yeah, I appreciate them so much.
You talk about making an impact. I've talked to a reasonable number of people. We're midway through day 2. I've talked to a lot of people so far this weekend, and I've asked a lot of people if there's someone who's going to rise up in North American StarCraft and have that Neeb story just redo. They've almost all, I think all of them actually, they've all named you. Does that is that the kind of impact? Is that starting to get in the territory the impact that you wanted to make? Talk a little bit about how do you see your own future? Do you mark yourself as one of those players who could be the next big thing in StarCraft?
I think it's a goal, right? You got to have realistic goals for yourself. And I think last year, everybody heard my name GameTime. Oh, he's okay. He's just a decent NA player, And this year, I've done a lot better for myself. I don't think I've even broken out, to be honest. I think I've just scratched the surface, and hopefully I can go for more. But this is just a start, hopefully. And I can't be too disappointed. I got all 4 WCS challengers. I got top 32 once in WCS. I competed in 2 of them, and I got top 32 once. And I was 1 game away in this one from getting it again. So can't be disappointed. But yeah, it's cool. People you recognize, as an up and comer, and maybe I don't want to compare myself to Neeb, man. That guy's a freak. That guy's a beast. That guy is special, pretty much. That guy does crazy things that I strive to do. And basically all I can do is just hope and just keep grinding and just hope for more, and just honestly, it's cool that they're hyping me up, and it's awesome to have that support. And even on Twitter, man, people are watch out for GameTime, he's gonna dominate this tournament. It's just cool to see that. It's awesome, as a player, boost your confidence and that people recognize you and stuff. And yeah, I just hope I can dominate next year, and I'm gonna maybe take a small break and then I'm gonna grind a lot this off season. I know everybody's saying oh, it's a 3-month break. We got a lot of time for the next one. You know what, man? I'm not at that level, at the high level to maintain top 8, top 16, even top 32, as you saw this tournament, and every DreamHack. I want to get to that level and be able to do it every time. So I'm gonna grind this off season while other people may be taking a break and stuff. I'm gonna be grinding and trying to get better. So hopefully, I'll be able to take that next step next year. And I hope it works out. So
that's awesome. You're already talking about next year. How deep do you want to go with esports? How much longevity do you see yourself having in the StarCraft scene and in the industry?
So WCS has confirmed to go through just 2018 right now. This year and then 2018. My goal is until I'm done with undergrad in college, and if grad school is really hard, I obviously can't pursue SC2 while I'm going to grad school. So undergrad will probably take 3 or 4 years, 4 years most likely, and that's pretty much my grind for SC2. So I hopefully have at least 3 more years as long as WCS is going on. And yeah, honestly, I was telling myself this event, how many times do you have an opportunity in your life to compete for an $100,000 prize pool? You know what I'm saying? It's nuts. To have that opportunity to come out here and actually make an impact and hopefully, make a name for yourself is an amazing opportunity. And it's we only get 4 chances a year for these big tournaments, right? And then BlizzCon if you get there. So if WCS, happens again for 2019 and 2020, then yeah, I should go through the whole time through 2020, hopefully. And as long as everything's going well, and yeah, I'd happily, continue to play StarCraft. It's an amazing game, and it's an amazing hobby that I have. So yeah, I have fun playing it. It's just the losses and the times where you practice so much and you get a loss and it demotivates you.
Yeah.
you just got to realize like it's a bigger picture, you know. You can't let it demotivate you, even though your initial reaction is to let it happen, like to motivate you and like, you know, you want to stop playing this game, you know, it's not worth it. In the big picture, man, those big tournament wins are worth it all, you know. Like, just I scratched the surface in Austin, you know. I beat U Thermal and I beat M Canning to get first in my group in the round of 80. Then I ended up getting second in my round of 48 groups to get top 32. Even took a game off Showtime in Austin, and then I went 1-2 with Igus and 1-2 with Showtime. So those feelings are just like, it's the best feeling, you know. It's that adrenaline rush, and it's like, it's why you compete. So I hope I can continue that, man. Obviously, I didn't have that this tournament, unfortunately, and you live and you learn. You just got to keep grinding, and hopefully 2018 will be like a great year for me. So, yeah.
Well, thanks so much, man. I really appreciate your time. I'd probably keep you for like another hour, but we gotta go watch some games. If you had any like shout-outs you want to make, you want to plug your Twitter, now's the time. Go nuts.
Yeah, my Twitter's GameTime SC2 at GameTime SC2, and yeah, I tweet about like my StarCraft tournaments, and like whenever I show like a decent result or something, I'll tweet that out. And yeah, I don't tweet a ton, but yeah, my Twitter's GameTime SC2, as I said, and Sloth Esports Club. You know, they've done so much for me, and they've supported me so much. So huge shout out to them, and they're actually sticking with us through 2018 as well. So I'm excited for that, and what's to come in 2018. So yeah, huge shout out to Stefan, who's a manager of, and Travis Yang, who's a manager to Sloth Esports, and they do so much for us. And yeah, shout out to them, and basically shout out to you guys putting out content. You, Cyan, you know, Robbie and Robbie Fear Dragon, and Toast. You know, you guys are putting out these interviews for everyone, you know, the community, the StarCraft 2 community to see, and it's just awesome. You guys are doing this for everybody. So yeah, thanks for doing this. It's awesome. Thanks.